Hi, this is Kevin Deal from Upscale Audio, and today we are so happy to have John Hunter, the Chief Designer and President of REL Acoustics, visiting us. I want you to know that in my own personal system, I use stereo subwoofers. And it's not because I want better bottom end for my speakers. It's because adding a subwoofer judiciously and properly is going to improve the mid-band performance, the sense of space, the realism of music. The biggest deal is not for listening to Eminem, it's so you can listen to Johnny Cash's voice or Jim Morrison and be able to say, oh my God, they're really in my room. That's what it's about. And if you're going to do it, look, if you've ever bought a subwoofer before and it hasn't worked well for you, it's because you bought the wrong subwoofer. You need to buy one from a manufacturer that only does that, and that is REL. They are the king. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to John.
Thank you, Kevin. So what we're about at REL is actually adding that structural underpinning, that foundation that is the bass. Yeah? And when you hear it done properly, it is just pure magic. Right? The thing that really impassions all of us at REL, it isn't bass per se, and that seems odd for a subwoofer manufacturer to say. It's the notion that when you hear it perfectly blended in, you should listen to that system and go, oh my God, that may be the best I've ever heard that speaker, having no awareness that a REL's anywhere in the room. And the only time that you notice the REL is if someone does a demo for you and removes it, at which point, if we've done our job properly, you're going to go, oh my God, put that back in, my system's broken. That's what a REL does. It's not a subtle thing when you get it dialed in perfectly. Now, we tend to do things a little differently around REL than the common subwoofer manufacturers. For starters, down to $749, we insist on our crossovers going all the way down to 20 hertz. That's an exceptionally deep maximum crossover point for a subwoofer. The reason we do that is we have to come in underneath the main speaker. The minute we start reproducing the same frequencies, the entire game is lost. Right? As soon as we start stepping on the main speaker, it's all over. So the idea is to come in a little under the main speaker, and the two marry together beautifully when you do that. Separate them by 6, 7, 8 hertz, and you'll never hear it come in. Now, to do this properly, you need a few things. You need, first of all, this clever cable that actually connects up to the speaker terminals on your main amplifier. And we've got them hooked up here. The guys here at the store can tell you it's unbelievable when you take the RELs in and out. You just lose so much of the magic of the system. These three little wires here connect up to the speaker terminals, and it's your entire system that we ask to be built forward into the REL. There's a 10-meter cable in US terms that's about 33 feet, and it literally comes in. This is a professional grade connector that handles tons of amperage, and it locks in place, so it's never going to rattle loose. You're not going to have a dem for your friends and go, oh gosh, it just fell out again. Right? If you want to do a dem and in and out, you simply pull it back, twist it, and it breaks the connection seamlessly. Right? So that's the principal way that we connect up to a high-end 2-channel system. Now, we do theater, and we do theater in a big way. And when you do theater, you need to be able to do this and point one. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Aren't we like just bass freaks now? Aren't we just overloading? And the answer is absolutely not. All we're doing with the high-level cable is making a full-range system. Don't get complicated about it. You took a bandwidth-limited speaker, a good speaker that doesn't go all the way down, and you made it go all the way down. But theater has a special track called point one, as we all know. And you have to be able to replicate that too. So we have a completely separate dedicated circuit for that with its own filter. It has its own gain, its own volume control, just to set that relative to your system. It takes, in my experience, once you know a little bit about how to work with these, 30 seconds to dial in point one. It is not a difficult game. And at that point, it will only activate in a Dolby Digital system. It will only activate when it recognizes that there's a movie playing. So don't worry that you're going to have twice the bass and it's going to be overloading your high-end 2-channel system. Not at all. It's completely absent until the Blu-ray or the DVD player recognizes it, puts out a flag, and your receiver goes, oh, now I have to activate point one. All right? We work very simply with our controls, and I don't know if you can zoom in on this just a little bit, but we work so hard on every aspect of it. We ask people, turn a sub around and figure out who cares, who actually sweats every detail. You know, we're using chrome-plated solid steel back here. All of the controls are laid out in a really organic fashion. It all starts to make sense. And I have to say, in my opinion, we do the best wireless of anybody on the planet right now. This has an optional wireless that will literally plug in and lock. There's a little module that plugs in, has the antenna, everything built in, power comes from inside. So on the TIs, you're at about $200 to a TI, and you can send a signal in a typical room 40, 45 feet. No issues at all. Now, there may be some issues if you have huge, massive furniture, but it works beautifully. It locks up with 2 flicks of a switch. You're not going to get your software out and start figuring out how to pair these. If you can flick 2 toggle switches, you're done. So we work really hard at sweating all the small details that really matter. We produce ranges from, in the US, $500 on up to $7,500. And there are 10 models that encompass that. The quality in each category is exactly the same. They really are. It's horses for courses, right? If you've got a wonderful $800 pair of speakers, you don't need a $7,000 subwoofer. You need an exact partnering match. So we start at $499 and we go right on up in 9 gradations, straight up to $7,500. Our big ones use these wonderful, very carefully worked out remote controls and crazy drivers and nuttier cabinets. But the basic ethos is first do no harm, give the underpinnings, give the structure, and then let the music soar above that. Thank you, Kevin.
Right on. Listen, you guys, you come by here, and if I turn on a system, and if I add this subwoofer, or if we do it at your system at home, if I turn on a properly adjusted REL subwoofer and add it to your system, and then I take it away, you're going to feel like somebody took your drugs away. I mean, that's how impactful it is. It is a big deal. Come by here, talk to any of the guys that work here. We've been doing this for a long time. I promise you I will treat your system like it's mine. Thanks.